Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Karl Strohmeyer, Chief Commercial and Revenue Officer with Nasdaq-listed Equinix. Karl, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you. It's fantastic to be here.
All right, and Equinix delivered its 75th consecutive quarter of growth, the longest consecutive quarterly revenue growth streak of any S&P 500 company, which is a testament to the critical role it plays in connecting the world's digital infrastructure. So let's discuss that and where you're seeing the success come from.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to see you again. It has been a while, and hopefully we can do it physically one of these days soon. But as you covered, and thanks for the introduction to the business. We're excited for the performance we're seeing. And of course, here we talk about the pandemic as an opener being virtual. The pandemic has accelerated, an already growing drive to digital, as you know. And so companies across all sectors are accelerating their push to digital, for the benefit of their customers, for the benefit of their operations, for efficiency. And, we are privileged, Equinix is privileged to sit at the center of these technology trends that are enabling companies across the spectrum of industries to accelerate this journey. And as you said, we saw record sales last year, Q2 and Q3. We have our earnings call coming up here on February 16th. So we'll talk about fourth quarter and our full 22 guide here shortly. But trust me when I say the momentum is strong, and it's not transitory. You said we celebrated 75 consecutive quarters of revenue growth last year, and we celebrated joining the Fortune 500, which was a huge milestone for the business. And so, we're seeing this and we're riding this into new markets, and we expanded into two markets which we're incredibly excited about, both India and Africa, which of course are massive, have a huge growth trajectory for the future, and we're new entrants into those markets last year. So we're excited about that. And just underlying, we're running about 235 data centers across 65 of the largest markets in the world. And so we're fortunate to sit where we do, and we're proud of the impact that we're having on so many companies and industries around the world.
And Karl, let's discuss the latest market trends, particularly around those data centers. I also want to learn more about your ESG strategy and really what's driving the Equinix performance.
Yeah, no, thank you. So first of all, the whole ESG notion, first of all, I love the fact that it's one of your questions, and it's one of the top three questions, as it should be. On the environmental front, we are advancing what we think is a bold sustainability agenda. We're excited about the reaction that we're receiving, not just from the industry, but across our customers, our partners, and our suppliers. We are, number one in the data center industry. And so we are taking a leading position around being climate neutral and setting science-based targets for emission reduction across the global operation and supply chain by 2030. And so we set a goal to reach 100% renewable by 2030. And we attained 90% renewable in 2020. We'll report out our 2021 results shortly. But and then we're proud to note that the EPA ranked us number 6 in their top 100 partners list. But there's a lot left to be done. And, of course, we're taking an ecosystem approach where, we're working with technology leaders across the industry to make sure that together we're doing everything that we can to drive that sustainability agenda. We recently launched a co-innovation facility in our Ashburn campus just outside of DC, where technology players we can work with different technologies like fuel cell, like Zulacor, who provides liquid cooling, and various technologies that really can drive better efficiencies within our operations. But, long story short, the performance has been strong, but we have an obligation, obviously, to lean in as an industry leader to make sure that we're driving the right things on behalf of, from a sustainability standpoint. And so, but I will say that talk about growth, is a big part of growth as well, because it's forcing companies across the industry to think differently about how they've deployed their IT architectures. And no matter what we say about, water, the collection of water and all of the preservation things that we're doing across the data center world, the best thing that the industry can do is get out of those old data centers that were not purpose-built with the same technologies and engineering to deliver the efficiencies that we need in the future, and migrate your infrastructures to places that do and can. And so it's a big part of the growth story as well.
How about digital investment and the rapidly evolving IT infrastructure landscape?
Yeah. So, digital is everywhere. And so the investments around how do I enable my products to be more consumable to the consumer in all realms of industry, or how do they adopt, machine learning to provide insights to their enterprise so that they can make smarter decisions, or how does IoT impact manufacturing so that they can collect those insights to build better products for consumers. And so all of those trends are driving a really aggressive growth curve.
And to wrap up here, even in the face of challenges with the pandemic over the past couple of years, it's remarkable just how profitable and poised for continued growth Equinix is. Where are you projecting to see that growth? Is it in the areas of India and Africa that we just spoke about, where there's just so much opportunity there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the growth is in almost every sector and every industry. And from a geography standpoint, obviously those emerging markets where, we are new to the market, but the market dynamic is so ripe for a neutral interconnection spot that has the data center quality and scale to support the IT growth. Is obviously we're expecting growth out of those markets, but we're seeing it across the platform. And one of the trends that I think is really unique, Jill, and we've mentioned this before, is this notion of interconnection. And obviously that is such a core proposition on our platform. But we produce a global interconnection index every year. I think we're on our 5th volume. And what we're seeing is private dedicated interconnection from company A to company B, the exchange of digital traffic for all kinds of benefits to those organizations is growing by 44% by 2024. And that's significantly faster and larger than the public internet. And so that notion of private interconnection and helping companies understand that they have an ecosystem of companies that they do business with, and how can they architect to ensure that they're being as efficient about the handoff of those insights and traffic as possible, is a huge part of the area where we spend a lot of our time investing to help companies grow around.
All right, Karl, we appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.